What's going on, ZUDO family? Saad and Ibrahim here. Welcome to another episode of ZUDO Talks. Today, we're speaking with Oussama, who's a software developer and an entrepreneur.
He founded Ayyur, a Moroccan skincare company, along with his wife, Mariam.
He has a passion for traveling and learning, and today we hear more about the struggles of starting your own business and the challenges he's faced as an entrepreneur.
Hey, salam to the family. So today we have Oussama on the podcast, and we actually go back, since 2013 we've known each other. We met up in college. So, yeah, Oussama, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, bro?
Also, Salam, ZUDO fan. This is Oussama. I've known Ibrahim since 2013, since he was the biggest computer engineering, electrical engineer nerd. And we're all nerds during that time, so it's no issue. Still are. A computer science major. I actually work as a software developer at FCA, currently Stellantis, and started Ayyur on the side because it's a passion of mine. Alhamdulillah.
Nice, computer
Nice.
science, eh?
Yeah.
What made you want to go into computer science?
Funny enough, like I don't know if you ever guys did this, but like in middle school, they have this career day when you go to like it's a computer lab and you start answering questions about what subjects you like, what interests you have, and stuff like that. And my top 10 choices were like computer engineering, software engineering, IT, and stuff. So ever since then, I'm like, I'm gonna do computer science. I have no idea what it is, but I'm doing it.
You let the world decide for you.
It's the easiest way to do it. There's so many choices.
Hey, it
But I
worked
loved
out.
it.
I think that's the most important part. Yeah.
Yeah, I
it
took
worked
my
out.
first programming class and I loved it. And I'm like, okay, it's a safe
This is
route.
the one. That's awesome.
Nice. So you mentioned Ayyur. Like, tell us more about Ayyur, man. Like, what is Ayyur, and yeah, what's the purpose of the brand?
So you're just to give a little background. It's an Amazighi name, which is the native language spoken by native Amazigh of northern Africa, and means the moon. And throughout history, like Amazigh and Muslims and Arabs across the world have always signified the moon with beauty. So that's the significant where we took the name from. But what we aim to do is bring organic, natural recipes that have been used in North Africa for centuries, to bring them to America, to North America, and share them with the world. So this is what we do. We bring organic argan oil, organic soap, and such products that will take care of your hair, beard, and skin in a natural way, and just share them with everyone else.
That explains your nice fluffy beard, man.
Thank you.
That's where that's coming from.
No, actually, like I'm not just plugging my business or anything, but I used to have like dead skin patches under my beard because like it got
Mhm.
longer and it's hard to like manage. And argan oil is one of the things that helped. I used to always go to my barber and he would show me, he was like, you need to take care of this. And
And
argan
like he would
oil,
tell you to like go in with the oil, like to pardon, like
he was just
apply the
telling me, he
oil.
was like, you need to do something about this. I was like, I don't know what it is,
Mm,
but like it's not healthy. So I'm like,
gotcha.
okay, I want to sell this. I might as well like, and I want to sell this in the future. I might as well test it on myself first to see if it's if there's any good in it. So
Yeah.
I've been using it for a really long time.
Yeah, you pretty much have a tried and tested product that you brought to the market. And I know we've talked in the past, and you mentioned how, like, you know, there's other, Moroccan oil companies, for example, right? But some of them might not have like fully authentic Moroccan oil. And you also mentioned how in Morocco, you've dealt with this issue, so you were able to figure out a way to get right to the source, right, and get the very authentic oil. Can you tell us more about that process and like what that kind of looks like? How did that work out?
So like even when I used like one of the things that started this business is whenever I would go to Morocco, people would ask me, "Can you bring me authentic Moroccan argan oil?" Because they
Mm,
tried buying it online or something like that, and like for some reason didn't find something that was authentic. So when I would go, like I would check out like the stores and the market and whatnot. My family would always tell me like, oh, they might seem cheap or whatever, but these are not authentic oils. So like if you want to get it, you have to get it from a place where they actually compress it. That's one of the best routes to go. So I used to do that. I used to bring, but I was limited. I could only bring 1 liter per bag in the airplane, and you could only share it with a few friends. So even Moroccans had an issue with finding authentic oil within Morocco because like once it gets to the market, it's just diluted to mark up the prices and whatnot.
mhm.
So I kept doing research and research, like, well, how's the best way? to do it until I got in contact with someone who has like a compressor in southern Morocco, and it's a region that is known for having a lot of argan trees. So we get it directly from the place where it's getting compressed. So we're not getting it from someone who's selling it at their own stores or whatnot. So we're getting it shipped directly from the place that compresses it to our
That is
house.
amazing.
Wow.
And
Yeah, it
actually
doesn't
had
get-
Moroccans that used Moroccan oil for like all their life, and I gave them my products, which is here in America, not in Morocco. They were like, "This is better than anything I tried in Morocco."
That is awesome. I can actually like speak about the product itself. I know, you know, I have the Moroccan oil, the scrub, and also some of the lip balms, and the products are unbelievable. So I definitely, you know, agree with the quality of the product. It's amazing.
No, that's cool. That's really, really cool. So what made you want to do it? Just like the fact that, you know, you had this problem and then you felt like other people might have the same problem and you wanted to help them out.
It always started like I always had this idea that I wanted to do something of my own, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do computer science. And like I fell in love with computer science because you don't need a lot of upfront capital, you don't need a lot of space, you just need an idea. But every time I would go to Morocco, people would ask me for the oil. Then like it came up that like once they found out I'm Moroccan, like even my coworkers would like, "Oh, can you give me the scrubs? Can you give me the mitts?" And it just like started increasing. And like in the mess, I'm like, hold up, there might be something here because I'm bringing it like something that is authentic directly from Morocco. There's a need apparently. So I'm like, let
Yeah.
me actually like just ask more people, would they be interested in like buying such product if I brought them? And did a couple months of like market research and searching how would we be able to get it here, and we saw that there was a need, and we just went with it. Alhamdulillah, it's going.
That's
Nice. I
awesome.
mean, you know, I actually remember back in college when you would take your trips to Morocco, you'd come back and you'd be like, "Hey, I have Moroccan oil," right? And like all of us would be like, "Hey, can you get some Moroccan oil for us back or something?" So no, I definitely remember that. But when exactly did you start Ayyur?
So it was launched on November of last year, November 1st. That was the
Nice.
launch. But like it was like 4 months before that was like the
Actively
research and
running.
like and meeting with Ibrahim, like and bugging him. I'm like, so how do I do this? How do I? Because I
No,
was
of
like
course.
so
He's a good teacher.
overwhelmed.
He's a good teacher. Yeah.
He's an amazing teacher. Man. Like there were so many things out there and people saying this, no, do this. I'm like, I'm gonna ask someone who's been through this route. Like I'm not gonna listen to people online. So I just sat with him and he like I think he took down like weeks of research that I needed to do into like a 2-hour meeting. I'm like, that I'll take.
No, of course, man. You know, but what I love about you though is, man, I've had, I don't know, so many friends come up to me, be like, "Hey, can you help me out?" Right? But with you, it was you actually took the, you know, the information I gave you and applied it, and you have a product and you're actually selling it. And I think, like, I love that. You know, you actually took something out of our conversation. So I appreciate you, for, you know, for doing that.
I
You know
remember
what I
you
mean?
asking me in the beginning, you were like, "Are you serious about this? Like, are you sure this is the way?" I'm like, "No, I love it. People are asking about
Yeah.
it. I want to make it official and go." And he
Yeah.
gave me his name.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, hey, I have an idea. I'm gonna test it out." You know what I mean? I'm gonna just play around with it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you were like, "No, I'm gonna make it work." And I think that determination and that persistence is, you know, why Ayyur is really growing today. In terms of like growth and stuff, though, right? And just starting a business, like, tell us more about some of the struggles you've had, because I feel like everyone talks about the successes, but I want to hear some of the struggles you've had. What has, you know, been a challenge for you? And yeah, tell us more about that.
I would say the entire road is like challenges. Like I would say even for you, like you've been on this road for much longer, for like years, but like you obviously like probably face challenges every single day. There's challenges
Mhm.
different for one from one person to the other. But once you have that like end goal in mind, that's what motivates you. Like regardless what challenges or obstacles I'm gonna see in my way, like I'm gonna get through them because I have a clear vision of my end goal. But for me, like the hardest challenge was just launching. Like just getting 2 products and launching them on a website was like the hardest step. Then the second hardest thing was continuing after like you launch just to keep going.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say the main
Why
thing
was
is
that
like
the hardest stuff?
because like you're putting everything on the line, like like and like
So were
you're
you working at this time?
yeah, I'm still working,
Okay. Okay.
but it's just like like saving enough money for like to invest in yourself, thinking, oh my god, what are people gonna say about me, or like am I gonna be judged? And you start to get into like all this mode, like what are they gonna say about like this computer science nerd trying to sell like skincare products and like all these like scenarios start to go through your head, or like what about if I invest so much of my money and like it just fails and I just have all these products laying around in my house, like what do I do? So
Yeah.
so many things just they motivate you in the beginning, but like once you launch, like Ibrahim told me, like once you launch, like you put everything on the line, that's it. You're even more motivated to make it work because like you told the world like I'm doing this.
Yeah, kind of put
No, I
yourself
love
out there,
that.
and you're
Mm,
like, you have to make it no matter
mm,
what.
mm,
And I feel like I agree with you. Like, there's things left and right, and there's just so many different departments within. I think that's one thing I remember telling you. I was like, hey, listen, you're gonna get overwhelmed, but if you understand that there are so many different departments,
mm.
it'll be a little bit easier for you to kind of manage and maneuver the e-commerce field in itself. So
I think that's the biggest problem, right? Like people typically don't know where to start. And because you don't know where to start, you don't even know like how your days are going to be organized. And I think like that's something that just comes with time. I think that as long as you're looking for some guidance, like you were very smart in reaching out to Ibrahim, like Ibrahim taking the time to kind of coach you along the way, and a lot of people don't have that as a resource, and
Definitely.
then and they all have like all these discouraging people around them
Mm,
telling them that, hey, like, are you sure it's a good idea? I don't know if it's a good idea. It might not work, like all
mm.
these negative thoughts, and then that kind of leads you to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't even bother, it's not gonna
Or when
work.
we think about it 6 months from now or next year, there's just
exactly.
a shelf
I
and
should
never
have
comes
done it.
back. Mm,
Exactly. It's like this thing that I read, man. It was like something that really, really stuck with me. And I think it went something like, you live with the pain of discipline or you live with the pain of regret.
Definitely.
And you're going to be hurting either way. So
Mm,
which way would you rather hurt?
definitely.
Sticking with something and doing it, or overlooking it and then not doing it and regretting that later on. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So like with that being said, like what do you think are your future plans for the brand? Are you gonna increase more products? What are you planning on doing with Ayyur?
To be honest, there are like so many things to be done. Like even the more research I do, and like during Christmas break, during New Year's break, I actually went to Morocco for a 2 week trip with my wife, and we went
During
to some.
COVID?
Yeah,
Nice.
uh,
That's awesome.
which was actually more strict than Morocco. They had like more guidelines and curfews, and like you have to be masked and whatnot. But it was a nice trip to be
Yeah.
honest. So we went, and like one of the places we went is a city in the south which is known for exporting argan oil and argan oil products. And we went to some of the stores and I saw products that I never heard of before, and like it's fully organic, natural products. And I saw like there are so many more recipes and products that could be brought and benefited from, that we have not just in Morocco but all over North Africa, since like that's my niche market. That's where I'm trying to
Mhm.
focus. There are so many things that we could benefit from that we like. Most people just know about argan oil, and that's like the
Yeah.
most thing they hear about, or like black soap. But there are so many other things that could substitute all the chemicals that we that we find in everyday products now and then. So the goal is just to introduce more products to our customers and just grow the brand that it's known as. I want it to be the leading brand in organic skincare and hair and body products.
I love that. I think you have like a, what is it called, like a North Star. You have something, your vision, and I think that vision is so big that you'll be working towards it. And I think in the process you're definitely gonna learn a lot. But if someone is looking to get started with Ayyur, right? What would you recommend that they first start out with? Because I know it can be kind of intimidating when you see a bunch of products. You're like, hey, what do I try? So as kind of like a skincare expert now, what can you kind of tell us?
I'm an expert just by testing on myself, to be honest. Not by any means.
That's how you get there.
I'll say the first thing, like if the one thing that we recommend to everyone is just the argan oil, because it's good for your hair, it's good for your skin, it's good for beard. People use it like under their eyes, like if they have like any marks under their eyes, they use it on their cuticles. Like it's you could use it on so many things. And we had people that reached out to us that like they had dry skin or sensitive skin that no other products would work for them but the argan oil, because it's one of the things that we're proud of. It's like there's no additives, there's no extract, there's nothing to make it smell different or anything is added, just as pure as it comes. So they benefited a lot from it, like overall their body. So the first thing is definitely the argan oil. If it was a second recommendation, I would say the black soap. It's just it's made out of pure olive oil, and people just love it.
Nice. Okay, amazing. So, you mentioned how in December you went to Morocco for 2 weeks, but I remember back in college, right? You took like a gap year and you went to Morocco for like, you know, it was supposed to be like a 2 month trip, but it ended up being what, 2 years or something. So can you tell us more about that? Like, what? Yeah, how did that
Uh,
happen?
that was a 3 semester. I was gonna take like some time off. So I got in a place where I was just like it was just school work. I wanted to be like the youngest person in my family to graduate college. I just wanted to like go into a corporate world and just start making as much money as like I was just about like the hustle mentality kind of thing.
Yeah,
But spiritually, I didn't feel like right. I was just not feeling motivated spiritually. I felt like I'm on a low state spiritually. So I'm like, I need some time out for myself. I need to go learn more about my religion, like align myself spiritually and whatnot. So I'm like, you
love
know, I'm
that.
gonna take 2 semesters off, go overseas, uh, study with teachers, meet like righteous people that will guide you through your spiritual path. Turned out to be more like 3 semesters instead of two, but it was the best decision I'd say I'd made in my life.
Wow.
It got me aligned. Like a lot of people said, oh, when you come back to finish your schooling, like you find it difficult because you took such a long break. But actually coming back and just being in that right state of mind and being spiritually aligned to and the word, like I was doing better in school after like being out for 3 semesters than I ever did before.
Wow. What do you think was like the contributing, like one of the main contributing reasons for that? Like, what do you
Uh,
like? How did like you become more spiritually aligned? Like, what helped?
I would say it's just like spirituality is this like realm or this like state that sometimes we don't realize actually affects your life in general. Like affects how the perspective you have in life. It affects your goals. It affects how you think of the future. It affects how motivated you are versus uh, what doesn't motivate you. So, for instance, just as an example, if before like my entire goal was just to make money for the sake of making money, but as I learned about more about my religion, I learned more about my spirituality. I realized that I don't want to make money for the sake of making money. I want to make money because I want to serve my community. I want to serve my family. I want to serve other people that are struggling around the world. So it gave you a higher purpose to look up to. It gave you that there's more reward than just the paycheck at the end of the month, but there's reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. And that just motivates you to another level. Like forget what anyone that tries to motivate you. This will take it to the next step.
Yeah, I think that you're 100% right. Like, that's such an important part of our lives that we tend to overlook all the time.
Hmm.
Nobody really emphasizes, hey, like, I need to pray. Or I think we've touched on this topic before too, Ibrahim. Like
Yeah.
the importance of just being spiritual and having that. So that's super cool. Three semesters is a long time.
Yeah,
You didn't get homesick?
I got homesick every now and then. I would like go get ice cream and chips and try to watch a movie or something. But like again, like I said in the beginning, like, once you have that clear vision of where you want to be next, you just stick through it, like regardless what the obstacle is.
I think it's having that purpose and living a life of intention and kind of knowing what you're doing. So I think, man, I love that. I love how I think traveling in general though, I think it gives you so much, right? It opens up your mind, it makes you realize how big of the world, how big the world really is outside of your little bubble. Um so man, yeah, no, props to you
But
for
like it's
kind of
not
taking
just
that.
like how big the world is, like also shows you how small you are in a sense. Like sometimes we think
Absolutely.
we're bigger than life.
Yeah.
It shows you how small you are, like so you humble yourself in a sense. And like I'm
Yeah.
not. It's not just all about me. The universe doesn't revolve around me. I'm just a small piece
Yeah.
in this universe.
Small piece that can make a big difference.
Yep.
I love that. I love that, bro. Um are you planning any other trips back to Morocco? What is your kind of goal there? I know you
Um.
mentioned you want to live there one day or something. Is that correct?
Actually, I plan to go back for another trip like the one I did before.
Nice.
Uh, just like once you go onto that path and you want to grow spiritually, you realize it's not like a 2 week meditation boot camp and you're done. And like it's an everlasting process that
Yeah.
you need to keep investing in yourself. Just like business wise, like it's not something you just do for a month and then say you're settled for life. You need to constantly keep growing.
Yeah.
Spiritually, likewise, you need to constantly keep growing knowledge wise. Like you don't just finish your 2 year or 4 year or like a PhD and you're done. You constantly need to keep educating yourself. So likewise, I actually want to go back and just grow spiritually, grow my Islamic knowledge, stuff that I need, to better serve myself, serve my Lord, serve my family, serve my community if possible.
I love it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that was really good. That was really, really good. Just like
uh
that comparison you made there, Osama,
yeah.
about like how you have to constantly keep going at it. It's not just a one and done type thing
One
and
and
you're
done.
set for
Yeah.
life. Yeah, super important.
And I know when you came back, I remember us talking, but you became more involved in the local community and ICD Mosque, right? And just kind of helping with the conferences and stuff. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What you kind of do there? And yeah.
So like when I came back, I was asked, like, if I started with like, would you be okay to like if we have meetings or like we have a bonfire or like a gathering at the masjid, would you be okay giving a short like 5-minute reminder or giving a reminder before like after Maghrib or after Fajr? And I was hesitant because like I was never a person to go out and like be a public speaker. I remember like I used to never even raise my hand in classes because like I didn't want to be on the spot. But I asked my teachers, I asked my mentors, and they were like the charity that you give of your knowledge is like not like wealth. Islamically speaking, we usually give 2.5% tax on our wealth, but they said knowledge-wise, you need to give 100% of what you learned. It's obligatory upon you to teach. The reason your teachers taught you is so you could give it back, so you could benefit others. And I talked to one of my mentors. I'm like, I can't stand in front of people. It was like with public speaking, the only obstacle is you. There's no logistics needed. There's nothing. Your only obstacle is in your head.
Mhm.
So after like a few sessions training and like getting advice and whatnot, I got pushed to do it, and it just kept going from there. From like short reminders to getting asked to do Friday sermons at the local masjid. Then it just expanded to other masajid, inviting me and giving me the honor to stand on that position, and it just kept going from there. Subhanallah.
Now you're probably enjoying it.
Now you like when you see the like sometimes like you feel like you're overwhelmed, but when you think about what is the reason that you're doing it, because
Mhm.
I have this message, I have this purpose, and I need to give it. Or if there is a need, and you're the person that I'm not saying I'm the best person for it, but there's situations where I'm the only one available, or like at that specific time, I'm the best person to do it. It becomes obligatory upon me to do it because there's a need that I need to fulfill. And as we know, is that we have a purpose in life, and we need to fulfill that purpose.
Man, I love it, bro. So in terms of like purpose and the future, like what are some of your goals, bro? Like what are you looking aside from just Ayyur, yeah, just in general.
To be honest, like I always want to find new ways to serve my community. I feel like the community that you live with, like whether it's your like immediate family, extended family, or the community like your neighbors, your city, your state, the things, the resources that they have provided for you are just like so amazing. Like the mentorship that I was able to get, like for instance, like from Ibrahim, from my other mentors, like whether it's like like Islamic sciences teachers, spiritual teachers,
Mhm.
or mentors, I was able to get so much, and I didn't have to pay for those things. I feel the only way to make it right is like to be able to give those resources back to others that need it. So I always try to find new ways to try to serve my community, whether just volunteering whenever you have time, whether like if it's a public lecture that you need to give, whether hold a class, teach about a topic that you have expertise on, and just pass it along, so it has that ripple effect that if you teach 10 people and they're teaching 10 people, just like keeps exponentially increasing, both in the reward and the effect that it has at the community of learning just growing together.
What's the best piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
To my younger self, that's a hard one. I always think about it. Like if I was to go back, what would I tell myself? Just keep growing. Like I remember like getting to high school, and like you feel like you know it all. Then like you finish high school, you get to college, you're like, that's it. I'm like at the top of my game. I'm learning so much. Like you just start to think that's it. You're done. Like after I get my bachelor's, that's it. I'm the top of my game. But actually, a scholar once said, I believe it's Imam Shafi'i. He said that the more I learn, the more I learn about my ignorance.
Yeah.
So the more knowledge you get, the more you're aware that there are so many more other things that you don't know. So just
So true.
constantly keep learning, constantly keep feeding your brain and feeding your soul. That would be my advice.
I love that, bro. I think learning
That's
is the one
beautiful.
thing
Yeah.
that everyone can do more of, because there's just so much knowledge out there, and no matter how much you think you know, there's just so much more. So I love that quote, absolutely. Um, in terms of just like the business side though, like with Ayyur, I know, you know, we're about to do something special with Ayyur. We're doing a little giveaway, so anyone listening to the podcast gets to hear it first.
Ooh.
So we're super excited for that. I think that's coming out like next week or something. So definitely excited for that, man. So Oussama, what is the best way people can contact you?
So the brand is at Ayyur_co.
How do you spell that?
AYYUR_CO. For me, I'm really like the main social media I'm active on is Instagram. I'm there like all the time, and
Awesome.
it's just my name, last name, so OUSSAMA.AJERD.
Oussama Ajerd, awesome. All right, we will definitely get that into the show notes so everyone can check out Ayyur. And yeah, stay tuned for the ZUDO times Ayyur giveaway, everyone. And yeah, thank you so much, Oussama. I really appreciate the time you took to be here and really give us these insights. And I really appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
No, thank you
Yeah,
for
so
your
it was
time,
it
your
was
mentorship.
it was good talking to you. Yeah, it was really great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.